Well, welcome back. I hope you've had fun just teaching a couple of prepositions. You can go as far as you want and have lots of fun. And that's really an important part about teaching English, is that you have to make it fun. You have to have it interactive. The students need to be standing and doing many of these actions because if they're sitting for a long period of time, where all the blood flows, it all goes down, and pretty soon, if it's in the evening when your classes meet, your students have been working all day, they're tired, and pretty soon they get bored. And if you're bored, well, it's for sure your students are bored. Now, I would like to add on to what we just learned about prepositions by learning what we call total physical response. It's the acronym is TPR, a very important and really a fun method for your students to become involved in giving commands. It's a listening experience. It helps your students listen and respond. Many of your students may be at jobs where their supervisors are asking them to come and do something, and this will give them an opportunity, a skill to be able to listen to the command and respond without having to use English. And so I would intersperse in your lessons a period at various times using TPR as a way of getting a break from trying to help them formulate the sounds, especially in vocabulary. And if you do pronunciation, and they're trying to form the sounds and their muscles get tired, it's good to read their body language and say, okay, now let's take a break and let's work on some of these prepositions and some of these command forms, and just want you to listen and respond. So once you have taught a preposition, in and on or beside, the next step then would be to teach a command form. Using your model repeat solo format, you would say, please listen, point to, and then point to some of your objects. Point to, point to, point to. Please repeat, and then have your students repeat and have them solo. Point to. Then you say, please listen. Point to the cup. Point to the book. Point to the box. Point to the pen. Okay? Point to the book. Please repeat. Point to the book. And then you have all your students respond. Model, repeat, solo. And then you would demonstrate and have them respond. Point to the box. Then you would pick up your next object, and all you have to do is demonstrate. And then they will respond, point to the cup. And once you're satisfied that they understand what you're trying to do and trying to teach, then you say, please listen. Please point to the box. Please point to the box. Please point to the box. And then you have them repeat that. Okay? Then you go through each of the objects in a substitution drill. Please point to the book. Please point to the cup. And then your students will respond. And then you take a certain student, you'd say, name the student, and say, come up and point to the book. And now, no gestures from you. All you're doing is having them listen and respond. So you request a student, please come forward, come up, and point to the book. And then you have them come up and point to the book. You say, very good. Always complimenting them, always complimenting them. And then you would ask another student, please come up and point to the pen. Or you can take the objects and put it on the table. If your students have tables, and quite often in a classroom, there's no tables. You're in a living room, somebody's home, and there's no tables. And so you might have to put it on the floor or put it on the side of a sofa or something like that. But if you do have a table and they're sitting behind tables, which is not always the best, but they can write, and that's okay if that's the way you want to set it up. Then you would put the objects on the table in front of them and have them cluster around, and you would say now, and then ask each student to point to one of the objects. Now, the next point is just like our chain drill, right? You teach the command for them. Please point to the box. And then once you go through the model and repeat and solo, and they can ask the question or ask the command, then you point to a student and say, please ask student B to point to one of the objects. And so student A is asking student B to point to one of the several objects that you have displayed on the table in front of them. Now, once they point to it, then, and everyone has a chance to do that, then you say, okay, please listen. Pick up. Pick up. Pick up. Pick up. Please repeat. And then you go through repeat and solo. Pick up. Now, see, they know where you're headed. They're adults. They know what's coming on because they're familiar with this teaching style. So you have the objects in front of them. Then you say to student A, please pick up the pen. If you want to teach colors, you can have a red, a blue, a green pen in front of you, and you could say, please pick up the red pen. Please pick up the blue pen. Please pick up the book. And each student has an opportunity to listen to you as the teacher, first give the command to pick up an object. And then you would have them, student A, ask student B to pick up one of the objects. And you go through the same process to pick up. Now you can see where we're headed on the stair step. Okay? The next step then would be, please listen, give to. Give to. Please give the cup to, and name one of your students. Please give the book to, and then name another student. Please give the pen to. Please repeat, and then so you use one object and they are able to say that sentence. Please give the pen to so-and-so. Then, with the objects in front of them, the command would be, student A, please pick up the cup and give it to student B. And the students, all they have to do is listen and respond. So they pick up the cup and they give it to student B. Now, at this time, let me tell you that each of the students, if there's any faltering or they forget exactly how to put the words together, the students will be helping one another. And that's a great encouragement. So don't try to interfere with that. Help them when they're needed. Otherwise, let the students help one another. This will strengthen them. And by the way, if student C is helping student A with the word, you don't think student C is learning how to say it themselves with good rhythm. So that's why it's good to have it very interactive. Now, you can have other command forms after your students give to, and you can spend 10, 15, 20 minutes and they're giving this and that and they're pulling things out of their pocket and other things from the classroom, or if you're meeting in someone's home, you can have things from the kitchen or objects from the living room or whatever, and they're commanding, they're telling, they're asking each other to give, to pick up, to give to, and it's just lots of fun. Now you can add a little bit more to this by using a different command form, such as you can ask student A, please open the door, please turn off the lights, or whatever. And then the students will have to get up, and this is a good action, and do what you've commanded them to do. And by the time you've added all of these together, and this may be one whole complete class session, by the end, student A will be able to ask student B to do one command. Please turn off the lights. Please turn on the lights. Please close the window. Please close the door. Please close the book. Please put the pen in the box. And they will all just have lots of fun. And all you have to do as a teacher then is to help supervise it. Now there is another step that goes a little bit beyond that. And if your students are more skilled and more advanced, you can include 2 commands. And once they have that, later on down, maybe a month or so after this, you can include 3 commands. So it would be, student A, please stand up, go to the door, turn off the lights. And then they have 3 commands that they have to listen and respond to. So you can add that on step by step, each time using this model repeat in solo. Now, what I'd like to have you do is to take about 20 minutes right now, and one command. I want each of you to teach one of the commands. Point to, or pick up, or give to, or put the cup on the table or the pen on the book. Either command, you just select one. Talk among yourselves as tutors, select which command you're going to teach, have your students lined up, and work together as a team and go through the procedure of teaching this command and have your students respond. Okay? Have lots of fun. And I'll see you back probably in about a half an hour, okay? Once you finish all of this, we'll come back and we'll talk about the next segment.